The Jupiter 8 is doing the arpeggiated part, and I've set it up in dual mode with the same patch on both the upper and the lower panel. So a slow attack and short release, and it's almost click in sound when you play it in isolation like this. And that's really important when it comes to the arpeggiating later. And I've set it up for 4 octaves and an up and down pattern. In the mix, in the DAW, I've set it up with the Eventide H3000 plugin and a auto panner, which sort of brings a little bit of movement between the left and right channels. Here's the full thing. And this is of course done with a lot of Valhalla vintage verb and Supermassive. And all throughout this recording, I'm using the Arturia Mini Freak to add some harmonic distortion in terms of ambient, spaced out sounds that really comes and goes where I see fit. I've also added some modulation to those and a little bit of effects going here and there. Again, lots of vintage verb and Supermassive in addition to the internal effects of the Mini Freak itself. And these sounds here are quite atonal, so I had to try and figure out which keys were sounding the best for the performance. And the piano part is coming from the Prophet X, again with a hefty dose of vintage verb and Supermassive, and some delays as well coming from the Prophet X itself. And I think it just sounded very nice with this piano, so I used it. And like I said in the intro, everything you see me play in the video performance is from the actual recording I did for this piano part. So there are no fake playing here. Everything you see is what's recorded. So these are the 3 synths I play and record live, but I also have a couple of MIDI sequences going throughout. And one of these sequences, actually 2 of them, are coming from the Yamaha TX802, and I'm using preset performance patches here, and one of them is called the Milky Way. A great patch. With vintage verb and Supermassive on it. And the other preset performance patch is called Big Chord Electric Piano, and it sounds like this. And again, with some vintage verb and a hefty dose of Supermassive. And this piano patch makes up the body of the sound in the frequency spectrum, while the Milky Way previously added some panned effects and sort of in the high register. The Roland D550 also does a little bit of both, and that's also MIDI sequenced, the Human Bell 2 patch. Let's hear it out with some effects and a little bit of the arrangement going. So in this patch, in typical Roland D50 fashion, I get two sounds really. I got the bell sounds and that nice lush choir sound all rolled into one. And then we have the bass part, and that is coming from the Kawai K3M, and it's also MIDI sequenced. And in addition to that, I used the Behringer BCR 2000 controller to control the filter cutoff and release times of the notes throughout. So this MIDI sequence has been recorded in real time from start to finish, with me using the BCR 2000 to adjust those parameters as I saw fit, because some notes had to be longer, some had to be shortened, and the filter cutoff had to be raised a little bit during the arpeggiated intervals in sections of the song or the piece. And here comes the arpeggiated part. And this is all played by hand. The Kawai K3M has no arpeggiator functionality. I've not used an external arpeggiator. I'm playing these parts by hand when I recorded the MIDI sequence. The BCR 2000 controller is actually still a nice piece of kit, and I use it a lot for different SysX purposes. As far as mixing is concerned, some of the synths go through that PreSonus Studio Live 1602 mixer, and some of the synths are fed into the Audient ASP800, which you see here. And everything is piped optically over to the DAW on ADAT cables and recorded there, as I do with most of my music. I hope you found this little breakdown interesting. As always, I'm Espen Kraft. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!